Okay, on today's show for Dumb Bleep, I'm going to do a preview. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Just a preview what we're going to talk about for Dumb Bleep. I wrote some like taglines here, okay? So like I have a list, and I'll tell you what my notes are, just to let you know. Socialists have a lot of ideas, but are they retarded? We don't know. We're going to answer these questions today. When the founders wrote the Second Amendment, did they ever imagine that one day we'd have muskets? Well, we're going to talk about that question also.
It's intriguing.
I have a pop quiz for you, Charlie. I don't know if you have a calculator out right now. If 5 million people buy a product once a month that has $10 net profit, clear profit, okay? How long until you make $1 billion?
50 million a month. It's 100 million a year.
Don't worry about it. It's a trick question. That situation can never happen and is in fact impossible. And the last thing is, sure, Thomas Massie votes in accordance with the Constitution all the time, but we should all remember that it's congressmen voting against Trump sometimes on legislation that still passes anyway that got America into this situation to begin with. All right, let's go through Dumb Bleep.
And we'll figure that out.
The week. Let's get to it. Oh, the muskets one. Here we go. A post from Associated Press. Number one, a musket from 1776 can fire a lead ball at a velocity of around 1,000 feet per second. Unfortunately, it only travels for about 0.25 seconds. Imagine what that can do to a human body. Yet under federal and most state laws, it's exempt from gun regulations. Many antique or replica guns aren't considered firearms, and even convicted felons can own them. And there is a video accompanying this story. So let's get to that video right here.
I think people would be kind of interested to know that when you look at the firearms of the revolution, the flintlock musket or the flintlock rifles, that they are actually technically, in terms of legal standards in the federal government, not legally a firearm. They are classified as an antique. It is actually not nearly as heavily regulated as a modern firearm. And what I mean by that is that today you don't necessarily need a background check for it in most states. It was created to essentially not burden historians, collectors, museums, and other law-abiding gun owners from collecting these significant pieces of history.
It seems silly to put restriction on something that would be such a terrible weapon if you wanted to, kill people. You can kill more people quickly with a car than you can with a musket.
Regulating a weapon like this is regulating like the power of life and death, right? Whoever holds this holds that power.
So
that's the issue. We're not regulating.
That's an issue. We gotta start talking about this. The serious problem, the unregulated muskets that we're dealing with out there,
sweeping the nation.
And as everyone like on this post is pointing out, we've always been told that like the Second Amendment wasn't written for like the weapons of our day. It was written for the weapons of those days. And like, sure, you can get those. You got that right, or the government's not going to infringe on that right, but AR-15 or whatever, you can't have that. But I think we're moving all the way down to, we need to question this unfettered musketry that's going on in America.
Sweeping the nation, man.
Yeah. I mean, there was a revolution one time with these things.
Your
so
next
you got to be careful.
High school shooting.
Could be
musket driven.
Musket. I hope that is not the case. Well, actually, if someone chooses to do that, I do. Like, they should pick a musket. That would be better for everyone involved if they're going to do that. But they should just not do it. Also, yeah. I guess that's all I have on this one. I got one other thing. So they actually are fairly unregulated. Like, there are some regulations still, and I have a weird point, which is that I don't like the fact that they have like a carve out for muskets and those kind of guns and not classifying them as firearms. They should classify everything like that and not regulate them, would be what I want to move towards. I don't like that
So everything should be classified as a musket.
It's almost like that carve out says, well, yeah, of course they were talking about muskets. And like, if we ever tried to regulate them, then for sure that would be
Supreme Court
infringing
would
on the Second
overturn it.
Amendment,
Yeah.
100%. So it's like almost making that admission that the Second Amendment was about muskets is what it feels like. But anyhow, that's number one. Let's get to number two. We've talked about this situation before. I guess the NYPD is still doing it, but they posted out saying they say the NYPD is crushing it when it comes to taking illegal mopeds and scooters off of our streets. So far this year, the NYPD has seized over 5,700 of these dangerous illegal vehicles, and we are not letting up.
I didn't realize that these were dangerous and illegal.
They're very dangerous and illegal. Of course, let's play a video of them. This is like the most government thing. This is one of the most blatant government things I've ever seen in my life, honestly. But here. Oh, they got some royalty-free music in the background.
That's
No,
is that supposed to be? That's like a hype video.
Yeah, it's
For
like
the
awesome.
NYPD.
Undocumented mopeds is one of the big problems that the NYPD is trying to solve. A lot of people, a lot of crimes being committed by undocumented mopeds and motorcycles. And so they got to get the... Now, listen, I don't live in New York. I don't know how big of a problem these things are.
I mean, I understand they don't want New York to turn into Vietnam. That's what they're
That's
fighting.
what it is. They said, this is America.
It can't be Vietnam. All these people riding around on mopeds trying to get around the city faster.
Well, it's kind of funny because...
This is crushing to the cab industry.
It's crushing.
Yes.
Actually, wouldn't this be good for the cab industry? I
No.
think it's good to take cheap
this is
vehicles
good.
away from people. Oh, they said that mopeds were crushing the taxi industry, and so
Yes.
instead they're going to crush the mopeds and force people to go on taxis instead,
Exactly.
or on the subway or whatever it is they do. I got you. It's such a government thing to do because even if you gave in and you were like, okay, these are dangerous, sure, we're gonna get them off the street. Wouldn't you sell them or something? Like, see if anyone from outside of the city wants to exchange money for the thing that you seized from someone. By the way, the people paid you to seize it from them and then paid you to crush it and paid you to make a video about it. And you think that...
I mean, this is shot from a drone. Clearly, that costs money.
That costs money.
They had fire trucks on standby just in case this thing blew up into a ball.
Like anyone from outside the city that will want, like anyone from around the world, you can make a deal with Vietnam. Say, hey, we got some of your bikes. You guys want to give us a little bit of money?
They're
We'll send
illegal
them
over
back.
here,
Yeah.
but we'll send them back to you.
There's a boat already going over there. Do you want to give us a little bit of money? Anything other than paying someone to crush them and to film it while doing so, while you're crushing like really good fuel efficiency vehicles that people were driving around.
Yeah, this looks like a climate disaster.
Yeah. You know how much that, diesel that clunker dozer pumps out in an hour?
Give you 30,000 a year in donations.
Very government. All right, that's number two. How about number three? This is we did something like this, like I don't know, last week or the week before, but this thing still happens. People still say this. Says we're all born socialists until they try to indoctrinate you. Just ask a child if everyone deserves food and shelter.
This is your favorite.
I'll never get this. Someone please explain this to me.
Yeah.
My comment on this, I said, I love how socialists are always like, see, kids think our ideas make sense. And then they go on about their day like nothing retarded just happened. Seriously, have you ever thought about asking your children for financial advice?
Yeah, just ask the kids.
Yeah. What do you think we should do with the money?
Yeah.
Should we save it for the future and invest and build a better life, or just blow it all on whatever? and not be able to accomplish whatever it is that we're going to try and blow
Let's
it
go
on.
to
What
Disney.
do you think? Just whatever. Yeah. Buy more video games. No, I'll never understand this point when people make, like, that children thinking that your ideas are good. That's not good. That's not. They could happen to agree with something that's a good idea, but you shouldn't use them thinking something's a good idea as like a part of the proof that your ideas are good at all.
This is so perfect. I don't know what else to say about it. It's
actually we shouldn't say anything else. While we're on the topic of some of these annoying socialists, we got 3 political commentators. This is posted by Jack Cocchiarella. I don't know if that's how you say his name. I don't know the fella. And then there's another girl, and she looks insufferable as well. And then they're with Hassan Piker, and they got floor seats at the Lakers, which sounds fun. Like sounds like it could be a good time. I don't know. It's just really crazy how tone deaf these people can be. Like posting out a selfie of like, hey, look. For me to sit in this chair, it was minimum $5,000, depending on who they're playing or what the game is. $10,000.
Yeah, because I think it's playoffs.
It's playoffs. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
20,000.
Playoffs.
Is how much it was. My bad. So that's pretty crazy. How about someone gifted you the tickets, which is what you probably say, and you took the ticket and you sold it and you solved world hunger with the money. Since you can just throw out whatever number would solve world hunger on that. All right. So,
Los Angeles Lakers playoff games typically cost between $20,000 and $40,000 per seat per game for playoffs. So
makes sense.
Premium high demand games such as the NBA Finals, those seats can exceed $50,000 to $100,000 for floor seats.
Champagne socialists, they call them. It's always like these rich kids that end up being like the popular socialist influencers. They just grew up hating their parents or something like that.
Well, it's socialism for everyone else, but this is what always happens because
it is.
If you look at
Animal Farm, the original version.
Yeah, if you look at any socialist country that's ever existed in history, the people at the top enjoy all the luxuries.
They did great. Yeah.
Everyone else suffers. Mm-hmm. At the cost. That's really separating the rich from the poor, and no one else has a chance to better their lives. Mm-hmm. You're stuck in whatever era.
But the literacy rates skyrocketed. Yeah, man. Everyone who can't read dies.
Percentages go up
when you stop counting people who can't read. Good. Okay, that was number 3. How about number 4? Another socialist, but he gets his own post. This is from Robert Reich III, who says there are basically 5 ways to accumulate $1 billion. Number 1, profiting from a monopoly. Number 2, insider trading. Number 3, political payoffs. Number 4, fraud. Number 5, inheritance. And that's how you accumulate $1 billion. Well,
he adds to it. Don't believe the self-made myth.
Oh yeah, I missed that part.
Yeah,
they have to destroy the self-made myth because the self-made story, which is not a myth, would lead people to not hate everyone who has money or who has success. Like if you see someone who built a great product or a great company that changed the world, hopefully for the better, you might not just naturally want to kill that person or put them in a gulag or something like that. But if you think that there's no way for anyone to accumulate $1 billion, then they must have stolen it. There's something I realize that people don't like. They don't like stealing. They don't like what they perceive to be stealing, like immoral stealing. Sure, a lot of people like taking tax money from people, but they think that's more moral than not doing it. But like socialists, a lot of the complaints I see, it really all revolves around the people who are rich stole that money from people. And then, we talk about the government stealing money from people. Of course, they literally steal money from people.
Like that's their whole job.
Yeah. And so like a lot of what the socialists of the left have to believe about rich people all revolves around the idea that if you have that money, it means that you must have stolen it from people. because that just resonates naturally with humans, that's a bad thing, you know? And so fighting this idea that there's no way to do it without stealing is a pretty important thing. It's why we harp on it so often. It's like sort of the basis of their whole deal. There are other ways to accumulate $1 billion, just so you know. It's not those.
So you're saying there's more than 5 ways.
Like, this is a guy who like presents himself as an economist. I think he has a law degree or something. I don't know what, like, he's never had like an economics degree or whatever. He just talks about economics. That he wouldn't at least put one of the options as you created the product that a lot of people liked and you made money off of it. And since there's 8 billion people in the world and we have worldwide markets, that there's a chance that you made $1 billion off of that. I know it's not as catchy. You know,
it's hard to put that in a list.
That doesn't fit in the list as easily, but surely he knows that that's one of the ways. There's other ways to do it. You could be really, really, really good at sports or singing or something like that.
Trading stocks.
Could be really good at it. You know, that's possible too. Classical Liberal Caucus had a good post, says, why does Taylor Swift have a monopoly on Taylor's music? We demand government breakup of Big Swift. Taylor Swift, of course, is a billionaire, and I don't think that Robert Reich. It's a weird thing with people on the left, like they rarely, if ever, actually never demonize like artists,
celebrities,
any kind of celebrity, athletes, things like that. It's like you earn that by competing with people, although sometimes, like, I saw someone who was trying to make a basket and Michael Jordan like forcefully went in there and stopped them from doing it. It feels like monopoly. He's like, no, anyone's going to make a basket. It's going to be me.
Yeah, he was defending his
like
$1 billion.
Force. Here's a list of people who just like, these are like traditional business people that you think of, although some of these people are like, they are business people, obviously, but these are people like the left generally wouldn't get upset hearing that they are worth $1 billion. Some of them they might. Steven Spielberg, $7 billion for Steven.
Because this guy these people all donate to super left-wing policies. That's why.
That's what it's political payoffs.
Yeah.
That's where they're getting their money. George Lucas.
Yeah, okay.
Michael Jordan, $4 billion. Vince McMahon, okay. They might be upset about that one. That's possible. The left might not like that one. I would recommend everyone watch that. I did not watch wrestling, never been interested in wrestling, but I watched the Mr. McMahon documentary on Netflix, and it was really good. It sucked me in like pretty quick. I learned a whole lot about wrestling and Vince McMahon. So anyway, Oprah Winfrey, Jay-Z, also known as Sean Carter, Taylor Swift, $2 billion, Kim Kardashian, Magic Johnson, Tiger Woods, all these people. Which mold? I think J.K. Rowling is a billionaire as well. I see her pointed out quite a lot. A lot of people don't fit that list.
They hate her.
That's right.
Yeah, she doesn't believe that men can be women. So
bigot.
She's out.
Yeah, she denies.
Now
science.
Her $1 billion was not earned through writing one of the greatest. I'm talking by the market saying it's the greatest series of books ever written.
Yeah. Never read them or seen
the
movies myself.
They're decent.
Yeah, I heard they're pretty good.
Good for kids.
All right, move on to number 5 here. This is submitted through Fed Haters Club. I think we're just gonna make fun of I don't know, the crying or the lefty liberal college age people who need their safe spaces, and just those sort of folks who freak out when like TPUSA does an event on campus and all that, those kind of people. Well, there's a sad situation where a student had been stabbed and killed, okay, and it happened to be transgender student that got stabbed and killed. And then this person, Avery, said, just learned that TPUSA will be hosting an event on UW campus featuring detransitioner and anti-trans activist Chloe Cole on Wednesday. This is an ugly look for the University of Washington, and I'm so disappointed in my school, capitulating to hate groups. Now, this is a person who transitioned and then detransitioned because it was the wrong choice and felt as though they were kind of helped along into that when they shouldn't have been, maybe pressured.
What does it have to do with the stabbing that happened?
Oh, it's got nothing to do with the stabbing except for that it was a trans kid that was stabbed. And so Seattle Police Department Detective Eric says that the victim is believed to be a 19-year-old transgender female who was enrolled at the university. The victim has not yet been publicly identified by name. She was found in the housing complex laundry room shortly after 10 p.m.
Okay, I'm still confused though. Was this a biological male?
Biological male, yeah. Transgender female means biological male. They still said she was found. Probably the person who found her was like, we got a guy here and the thing's been stabbed, and that person's been let go. Probably had to talk with HR or got fired. I still don't know if this was the victim was a female or a male. I don't understand it. Well, it depends on whether or not you like J.K. Rowling. So that's the question. This person says, so anyway, a Jew was killed and then we held a Nazi rally the next day. Same energy. This simply should not be allowed to happen. And if TPUSA had any dignity at all, they would cancel it themselves. And I just want to let everyone know that they don't know who killed this person, but there is this like mentality that trans people are like targeted and murdered disproportionately for being trans, I guess. But what they do is they take like the murder rate in general for people who are trans and say that means that that these are all hate crimes. When in fact it could just be some people who were hanging out with people and that are in the bad stuff.
And they just happen to be trans.
Yeah, they happen to be trans.
Like we don't know.
Yeah. So basically, because a trans person was killed in the laundry place at the housing complex next to the school, TPUSA should cancel this event where a person who transitioned said, I was pressured into that. I should not have been helped into that. It was a terrible decision and I shouldn't have done it. And so that's hate. It's like having a Nazi rally at the school. And it looks like the students are talking about coming in and shutting this thing down. So I don't know if that happened yet. That's what we got. That's number 5. How about number 6?
This looks like
when I watched
like the campaign.
It does. I watched the video. I was like, that's the first thing I saw. I was like, really? That you saw him make that face and that was fine? That was the best 1 second clip. If you're listening,
we're not going to eat a baby here. That's not good. By the way, they make modern toupees look really good these days.
Yeah.
This guy needs an upgrade. That is just an awful looking toupee.
No, man, he's keeping it real. He doesn't want that fake persona and image out there with one of them modern toupees.
God bless
He's got
America.
this going on.
That is so awful.
Oh, sorry. If you're listening, this is a picture of Ed Gallrein about to eat a baby, I'm pretty sure. It's not the actual dumb for Dumb Bleep number 6. I just wanted to spark it off with
Can you make this our background?
I should.
Instead of the fancy graphics you got?
It's funny. I actually considered using that as the background for the next of the Massie conversations. And I didn't do it because it was 12:30 in the morning and I decided not to do it. So this is a funny situation that happened earlier in the week. Ed Gallrein posted online, I think it was on Instagram, is where that happened. Luckily for him, they left it. He was like, we'll just leave it because we only have 150 followers, so it'll be fine. But he accidentally asked an AI to write a post for him, and then posted the AI's response, which said, here's a polished social media post in your usual campaign community-focused tone. And then there's the post right there afterwards. And I just want to say, this person Massie is running against is not real. Now, listen, they did a good job picking someone that a large percentage of the people over the age of 65 are going to vote for. Navy SEAL, and promises to vote with Trump all the time. That's all that matters. And you're like, well, why don't you look into the future? Because Trump's only got 981 days left in office. So you're like, don't you want someone who's going to vote for the Constitution forever? But remember, these people are over 65. So they're not looking into the future that far.
Exactly.
And so that's the issue.
Unfortunately, 65 and older, I think, is still the largest voting bloc. So there's some there's some ground to make up. I still have hope. I think Thomas Massie is going to win.
That's where you went wrong right there. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Man, I'm going to be leaving to go to the LP convention on Wednesday. So if he does, well, whatever happens on Tuesday with the election, I guess I'll have...
It has narrowed. Even Polymarket has narrowed. It's 65 to 35.
I can't trust Polymarket these days anyway. I mean, someone can place a big bet in the other direction, and odds change. So and then they could do that, and then they could run an ad saying, look, Polymarket shows that Massie's going to lose after they placed a big bet saying that he's going to lose. And then they pay Polymarket to run an ad showing that he's going to lose. And it makes it look like that's what's going to happen. And that, in fact, also happened this week. So,
can you trust polling, though?
Polling? I think, well, let me see here. No. Most of the time you can't. I mean, the margin for error, you got to always assume it's going to be, at least that. But of course, you don't know in which direction it's going to be. When it comes to polling, I would say older people are probably still more likely to do these polls than younger people are. So you got to imagine that they're going to catch more of the older people, but they do show you in a poll, like, here's how many old people, here's how many, whatever. I mean, it's like, I guess it's the best tool we got. I don't know. I still think they should work on something with X where you can do polls, like say Massie could do a poll, but it was only open to people who lived like in Kentucky or in his district. You'd have to have your location and everything set up like that. But what if you could just go poll? What if as a congressperson, you could just go poll the people in your district for whatever the legislation is or whatever, and like only those people could do it? I mean, you'd have to have like verification on social media to be able to make that actually work, but it'd, be worth exploring. I don't know. Okay. Just wanted to make fun of Ed Gallrein for that real quick. The other ones, let's go through this. Ed Gallrein also posted the New York Times and Trump-hating socialist Khanna are both endorsing Thomas Massie, and that tells you everything you need to know about this race. They've joined Obama, Kamala, and Biden donors in a left-wing crusade to stop President Trump. Meanwhile, I think the number is 85% of Gallrein's donors also are big donors to Democrats. Of course, that's only 4 people.
Yeah.
But
it's actually more like 90 or 95%.
It's a lot. So this thing about the New York Times and Khanna endorsing Thomas Massie, we'll do the Khanna thing first. Khanna said, Thomas Massie is a man of character. He is the type of congressman our founders envisioned. I hope his constituents will see the courage, independence, and sincere love of country he brings to the job. I think that is an accurate statement, honestly. And so that's sort of an endorsement from Khanna. I do wish that people like Khanna would realize that that's not exactly helpful when you're running in a race where it basically depends on massive Trump fans deciding to vote for Massie, even though Trump said to vote for the other guy. Like, you're not helping by doing that, unless they have an open primary where like Democrats would go vote for Massie or something, but I don't think they have an open primary. I think we looked that up.
Right.
So it's not helpful, but a lot of people are dunking on this. Insurrection Barbie, a bunch of laughing face emojis. Nicholas Salmon, who's a massive disappointment. Kyle Rittenhouse is so much better. Laughing at this endorsement. Of course, it's like, oh, of course he gets an endorsement from socialist Khanna. See, everything we told you about Thomas Massie was right. He's basically a Democrat. He is a Democrat and hates Trump. And these people are, This 0 Hour, which just lies about stuff all the time. They said Thomas Massie got endorsed by the DNC. That's just a repost of Ro Khanna's post. That's not an endorsement by the DNC, which is what the community note says. This person, Joey Salads, I don't know, this showed up in my feed, says, as a conservative, I don't support people Democrats are supporting or want to see win, like Massie. Shipwreck Crew says, Massie fans and the New York Times are now aligned. How does that feel? And so that brings us to the New York Times. So we've said this so many times, but first off, Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie did the Epstein thing together. Okay, so they work together. Massie's principled. Ro Khanna, I believe, is also principled. It's just his principles suck.
Especially on economics.
Yeah, like terrible on economics. And so yeah, I'm not a Ro Khanna fan. He seems to be one of the more honest people that have terrible ideas.
Like he genuinely believes them.
He genuinely believes in terrible, awful, civilization ending things, but he respects someone who's also principled in their beliefs. Many other people who are Democrats are going to support Massie because they hate Trump, and Trump wants Massie to lose. And Massie sometimes votes against the big legislation that Trump wants to have passed versus someone who's always going to vote for whatever Trump wants to have passed. Like Democrats would want Massie to win. It doesn't mean that Massie's a Democrat. It means that Democrats would recognize that Massie could be like useful for going after Trump.
And
sometimes.
Here's the strangest thing about all of this is most of the votes that Massie has voted against Trump, let's say, was largely like continuing Biden's spending package.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to talk about like that one tweet is like, oh, now Obama, Biden, Kamala, the same, whatever. It's like, no, all of your Republicans, by the way, are the ones continuing on Obama and Biden and Kamala legislation by actually voting for it. The one guy who stood up against it is somehow siding with the people who would want to see the continuation of the same spending that Biden was doing. In fact, let's add a little bit on top.
These people are like,
that.
I wouldn't vote for someone that Democrats support. I'm like, dude, Trump. Did you hear what Trump said about Bill Clinton during all the Epstein stuff?
Best friend.
They're like best friends in the world.
Yeah.
It's like freaking stepbrothers up there or something like that.
Trump told Marjorie Taylor Greene the Epstein files is going to hurt a lot of his friends. That's why he wanted to squash it.
Did you hear what he was saying about Xi Jinping and in China, talking about how great of a leader is? Like, people get mad when I say that, but I just, great leader. It's like, I'm honored to be your friend.
Yeah.
Like, this is
if I could run America like a communist country, I would.
Fascist dictator of China. Okay. Now, there's other reasons to be saying that, but okay. So consider that also happens other times as well with other people. The New York Times story is really stupid, by the way. It says, he's one of a dying breed in Congress. America needs him now more than ever. So this is an endorsement by the New York Times. When in fact, this is
opinion guest essay by
the editor-in-chief of Reason magazine, a libertarian organization, got a guest essay published by the New York Times, and all of the big high IQ people over at MAGA are like, see, New York Times endorses Thomas Massie. I don't even know what if I talk too much, I'll get too negative on it, but I don't feel good about next week. The thing did happen with Polymarket. This is a paid post by Polymarket. They said Thomas Massie's re-election odds are tanking amid hush money allegations from an ex-girlfriend. He's now projected to be unseated. This happened like pretty quickly one day, where essentially you can make a bet and change the odds. They then ran an ad on Polymarket saying it looks like he's going to be unseated, and then the next day it was just back. After that, it was back to him being at like 60% or something like that. So that's the kind of thing that's going on. And I was just thinking about the money spent in this race. Like, you're over $25 million now. Going to be over $15 million on the Ed Gallrein side, at least. It's going to end up being way more than that. I'm just like, for Really, for what? How did this become so important to Republicans that they get rid of this guy, Thomas Massie? Do you really think it's because they're worried that they've got this big piece of Republican legislation coming up that's going to save America, and they're just really worried that Thomas Massie might vote against it and screw over the whole thing, and so they've just got to get Thomas Massie out of there, or this country-saving legislation that they want to pass might not pass because of that one vote. Do you think that's why they're spending $15-20 million trying to get rid of him, or is it something else?
It's
honestly,
a pure ego play.
It's an ego play for Trump, and I think it's the foreign lobby. I think he votes against he votes against the any kind of foreign aid spending. He votes against the war. He votes against that stuff. Like all the big, massive people that are funding this thing just so happen to be Israel-aligned super PACs. Like,
now you just lost the show.
It's not like heritage or like constitutional aligned super PACs or whatever. It's
so
all
you're
those.
a Jew hater.
So it's you really got to ask, like, they're spending this much money to solidify the vote for what? In a Congress that probably Democrats are going to have control over once Trump gets in once the midterms
So
are
you
over.
hate Jews is what you're saying.
That's basically saying I hate Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we have 7 minutes to talk about the biggest story of the week when it comes to
Well,
Thomas
by the way, you
Massie.
missed that part of the story, which is that now they're lying.
Well, she's come out and talked about it. I mean, she's out there.
Well, and they produced like questioning that happened 12 years ago, which turned out to be false. Thomas Massie is talking about this. Just super low, man.
Yeah.
Politics is dirty.
Well, the questioning is
You ever
recent.
want to get in politics, man? It's a dirty game.
The questioning is recent. It's by a person who ran against Massie in the primary like 12 years ago or whatever. But this is an alleged girlfriend he had for a short period of time after his wife died, couple months after his wife died. And this has become like an accuser, although a bunch of the stuff from the story is not even connected to Massie. Like there was this thing of a $60,000 payment in an NDA that has been mentioned in relation to the Massie story, which is just something else that this girl is involved in with another congressman's office and has nothing to do with Massie, but they get mentioned together, so they're now connected. Like there's an NDA and there's
This is
a
just a way for her
$60,000
to
payment.
make money.
Huh?
That's her job.
Yeah.
She takes hush money from Congress people.
Yeah. She had also, since we only have a few minutes here, and I'm sorry we don't have time to go in depth into it. I mean, I pulled up everything. Well, that's the scooter story. Now, come on. Let's see here. We got a scandal. We got someone did a great job having an AI put together a website called massiefiles.com, which is good. It like disproves like every claim that's been made in this thing. Not really disproves, it points out every single hole in the story. Here's what Cynthia West claims 1 week before the primary. Does everyone not just see what this clearly is? Everyone knows it. When I saw the story come out, I was like, you have to be kidding me. 1 week to the day before the primary, there's an allegation, an unsubstantiated allegation from a random woman that something happened. We don't even know for sure what it is. No proof of anything. Oh, she also has a history of making allegations that were thrown out in court because there was nothing to back them up at all.
And still gets money from them.
Oh, she's being interviewed by someone who literally ran against Thomas Massie for this seat in the past. You know, that's cool. You know, this is like a sworn statement, which has got to be done by a neutral third party, but the neutral third party was a person who ran in a race against Thomas Massie. You know, really, a week before the election, that's what's happening. We're going to go with this.
Plus, you can tell she's lying because she opened her mouth.
Yeah.
Woman. Yeah.
And so there's a story here, but it doesn't make any sense. The timelines don't add up. Massie has posted this out, of course. The timelines don't add up. There's documented proof on X of this girl like still flirting with Massie in the time after she says he, intimidated or threatened or whatever with the money,
Emotionally abused her.
Emotionally abused. Yeah, that thing. And so like it's so obvious what this is. They have spent so much money to try and get rid of Massie for whatever reason. Has nothing to do with, whatever it is. Mainly Trump ego play in Israel is what it is. They spent all this money, and there's still a chance that Massie's going to win. And so they have to pull out this last thing. And the wildest thing is that so many people in MAGA are going for it and acting like they care about it so much while still supporting Trump.
Who's in the Epstein
of
files.
all people, and accusations in the Epstein files. Like there is a massive list of just accusations of people calling these tip lines or whatever and making crazy, horrible, horrendous accusations about Trump, not to mention the E. Jean Carroll thing. There's all the Stormy Daniels stuff. That was a literal hush money thing. And so these people are like, well, see how creepy Thomas Massie is because of this one story that this girl who has a history of making shit up to people told a guy who ran against Thomas Massie in the primary 12 years ago. You see how creepy he is? He's just not who you think he is, guys.
I just don't think people are angry enough at what's happening. It's so infuriating. And I think I find myself personally infuriated as someone who has been a victim of false allegations from a decrepit woman. Anyway,
everyone go to the thing and start voting while we continue talking about this. Go to the live group. Musket, Scooter, Socialists, Reich, TPUSA, Gallrein, the New York Times, Khanna, and this scandal. Those are your options. Go start voting. I just want to, and it's like worst case scenario, because listen, anyone could do something terrible. Don't want to say Thomas Massie's so perfect he would never do something bad. You can't do that. Can't look at any politician like that. It's not fair to do that. You look at not what people say, you look at what they do. And you can look at Massie's voting record and see that it's been pretty solid, okay? Doesn't mean he's never done anything bad in his personal life. But in this scenario, like worst case, what we have is like the general story is he got a girlfriend a couple months after his wife died, requested some sexual stuff that I guess she wasn't, she didn't want to do or whatever. And in order to save himself like the embarrassment of the story, gave her $5,000 to be quiet about it because it was embarrassing or something. Didn't make her sign an NDA. That's another part of another story that people are just talking about in relation to this one. So didn't have her sign an NDA about him. She gave the money back a few months later and still never told anyone about it until right now, a week before the election. But like worst case scenario, that's what happened.
And believe all women.
And also the MAGA is now the party to believe this one specific woman, none of the other ones.
Yep.
At all.
All right, get your votes in. I got to hop on a call right now. So get your votes in. Nate told you what they were. I see who's in the lead. So while you're voting, I'm going to tell you to share the show. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment, rating, review. We appreciate you all doing that. If you want to spend some money, then you can support the sponsors that support this show by visiting the show links. By visiting the links in the show notes.
The show
I forgot how to say
links
that.
in the note shows.
In the note shows.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Notes and shows.
And also, if you want to vote, then you got to go to the Fed Haters Club, join gmail.com, be there. It looks like the scandal.
The scandal's going to win.
So
yeah, it's very dumb.
Awesome. Well, if you guys enjoyed it, do all those things. And if you do, then we'll be back again on Monday time. Yeah. Until then, I hope you have a good day, a good weekend, and a good morning, Liberty.